Hello, class. My name is Zikomo Bullock, and I am here to talk to you all, or speak to you all today, rather, about domestic drones and the possible problems they may cause with current privacy laws. Now, as you may or may not know, domestic drones are essentially flying devices you can use that can be remote controlled and generally have a camera of some sort so that you can see your surroundings and know where you're going with this drone. Now, as to why there might be some privacy issues with these drones, it is because, well, law enforcement agencies have currently gotten the license to utilize these drones. Now, normally, this wouldn't be a problem, as it does actually aid in their surveillance. However, it has come to the many people's attention that these law enforcement agencies can wrongfully use these drones to, say, spy on people, stalk people, or even look in someone's home. And that's not just a problem for law enforcement agencies themselves, but a problem for, I guess, any person that would buy one of these drones. Now, because of how new they are, not many states have any regulations on how the drones are allowed to be used, and no laws are drawn to protect citizens' privacy. And in fact, most of the time it does go ignored. Many states that do actually have laws in place for the drones are essentially just to allow these enforcement agencies to get warrants much easier than any normal person could, or get licensing for the drones much easier. Now, my personal belief is that drones should be need a little bit more regulation to prevent any future problems. Now, the biggest problem with these drones is that they potentially infringe upon people's Fourth Amendment right, which is the right to no unreasonable search and seizure. Because of this, it may stir up issues regarding privacy and civil liberties. Now, one big thing is that the drone usage has been approved for law enforcement, and this is a resulting factor of the FAA's Modernization and Reform Act of 2012. The FAA stands for Federal Aviation Administration, and basically what they manage is anything that has to do with, I guess, flying vehicles. Now, this includes drones because of just the nature of how they work. But again, because they're so small and because they're so new, they have very little regulation, and thus it's very hard to say what we can and can't do because there's very many possibilities to what these drones can do. In fact, there's one case where I believe some pharmacies have considered utilizing drones to deliver drugs to people. Now, normally this wouldn't be a major problem. However, again, there's little to no regulation in very many states today, and privacy laws have been unable to keep up with technological advancements. Now, because of this, it has come to many people's attention. It's still a very contentious issue that we need some type of regulation on these drones, because law enforcement agencies, again, can utilize these drones to essentially bypass your Fourth Amendment rights, because technically they can view what someone is doing while staying in a public space and not intruding into someone's own, I guess, privately owned property. Now, it's also fair to say, in my opinion, and I just want to make this point very clear, that, again, drones are still fairly new, which means that we may not have had enough time to put regulation, or to actually make regulations for these drones, meaning that in the next few years, when drones start, with the popularity of drones still increasing, we could expect to see some type of regulation, such as, say, more, the need for more licensing or warrants or something else, like, say, a citizen or even a law enforcement agency would need someone to go actually get a license to utilize a drone, such as maybe a drone's pilot license or even a pilot's license for that matter. Now, it could also, one thing that we could also do is make it so that there are specific roadmaps that these drones must follow. And in that case, if we do apply an idea like that, it would probably be in our best interest to put in place some kind of air traffic control law for drones, so that way there are no crashes or anything of that matter, because these drones falling from the height they are means that there could be possible injuries to any persons who may be unlucky enough to have a drone, say, crash and fall on them. Now, I just want to conclude my speech by saying that drones are a fun hobby. However, at current, there's still very much that needs to be done about how would go about regulating these drones. And if the trend in which drones popularity keeps increasing, and it keeps increasing, it may be possible that we eventually live in a world, or rather, let me shorten that to say United States. We may live in an America in which you're constantly being watched, and it would be fair to apply the phrase or quote that Big Brother is watching from George Orwell's novel 1984. Thank you very much for listening to my speech.